What do you wish wasn't so expensive? Houses. I bought my house 7 years ago. I thought I paid way too much for it. It has doubled in value since, and I hate it. The value of my house does nothing for me. If I sell, I would need to buy another house that is similar in price anyway and qualify for a mortgage based on value that is double. My house is supposed to be a starter house for younger couples. I don't understand how a young couple is supposed to afford $5,000 a month on mortgage payments and $600 a month in property taxes and another $100 for insurance, then car payments and cell phone and groceries. It is fricked. You have to make $150,000 here to live in a starter home. Funerals. As someone who is arranging my husband's funeral, and he had no life insurance, the whole thing is a racket. Mom died in October. No life insurance. Had to cremate and put her in a cardboard box. Still cost close to $1,500 and my siblings couldn't afford to help. My parents arranged to donate their bodies to a local hospital for research. When my dad passed away, they picked up his body and cremated it when they were done doing whatever with it. No cost to them or us. They spread the ashes at sea, which is what my dad wanted anyway. What depresses me is that most of these responses are for things people actually need. It's almost like without major policy reform, life itself is a luxury. Housing. The prices are ridiculous. If you look at house prices from 80s 90s, it's shocking how much they've gone up compared to how little wages have gone up. Yet, my dad bought his house in Oregon for $30,000 in 1989. His house just sold for $360,000 in 2021. He made $15 an hour as a cable technician for Comcast back then. The hourly wage for a cable technician is $15 minus $20 an hour at Comcast now. How is this even a thing that's allowed to happen? House prices. It's got so bad here in New Zealand that it's been called a human rights issue. And people are unironically putting bed and garage up for rent just to try meet the demand. Bed and garage for rent has apparently been pretty normal in Silicon Valley for a decade now. A friend of mine was paying I think around $2,000 more US before the prices went really up. Silver lining, at least it's a climate where garage can be made entirely livable year-round. Bed and garage for rent has apparently been pretty normal in Silicon Valley for a decade now. A friend of mine was paying I think around $2,000 more US before the prices went really up. Wait. Are you saying there was $2,000 more for a freaking garage? And it went up? The cost of houses in Australia. $800,000 in the middle of nowhere. Regional NSW. 2-hour drive from Sydney. It's amazing to think there is so much land in Australia and this still happens. Housing bubble is utterly crazy. And the government won't do anything except talk cause they don't want the older half of the voters to lose their investment value and they love collecting stamp duty from Chinese buyers. A house. To buy an apartment in my country you need to win 2 game shows. Game shows in the UK would need you to either play about 10 plus times on a good case 2-4 and on some of the worst you may only win £1,000 to £5,000 so you would have to win 20 to 100 times. How many countdown teapots for a down payment on an Essex flat? Getting sick. Was in hospital for less than an hour. I'm getting charged $2,000. My lung collapsed and I had to go to the hospital where I got lung drainage. Then they sent me to a special clinic where I got surgery and they glued my lung to my chest. 9 days in total. I paid €90. Still mad. Pituitary tumor at age 29. Was wrongfully fired for not knowing when my tumor will be better. I was calling in more days than I accumulated at this school corporation as a special ed assistant. Lost my insurance and a few months later showed up at the hospital and said I feel like I'm going to die and stay 10 days for a brain surgery. Left with $98,000 in debt. It's been 9 years and my credit is still destroyed. But we paid, and the hospital was so generous to lower my bill cause I'm poor, to $70,000. Housing. Rent is so expensive we can't save for a mortgage that would put us better off in the long run. Freaking sucks. Where I live, since I moved here 4 years ago, rent has pretty much doubled, which has also made the homes triple in value. Co-worker built a house 5 years ago that he could sell now for 3.5 times what he built it for. A family friend bought a home around the same time and sold it this summer for almost 5 times the price. Sucks cause I moved states and got this job cause of the good pay and low cost of living in the area. Well, it completely changed in such a short amount of time. I bought my house for $250K and I could sell it for $400K right now. But that's hard to get excited about when a new home would cost just as much or more. Insulin : has a patient come in yesterday. He has insurance, but his copay for his insulting was $265. Did he pay for 30 minutes being insulted or get the full hour? Cost of basic utilities and fuel prices in Australia are through the roof. Luckily, our federal treasurer gave us great advice on how to afford it was to just get a better paying job, and poor people don't really have cars or drive far anyway if they do. Meanwhile, he said this on TV while sitting in the leather wing-bound chair in front of a fireplace with a picture of a thoroughbred horse above the mantel. Houses too. Dump of a place went $4 1.2 on my block in Brisbane. Sold 3 months ago and sitting vacant still. Really makes you wonder who's buying all this property that seemingly no one can afford anymore. Dental care. I spent $5,000 to get Invisalign. I'm poor, but no longer want to be told I'm poor because of my terrible teeth. Definitely interested in getting this once I can afford it. Growing up, no one ever took me to the dentist and I honestly never had any tooth pain until a few weeks ago. Went to get it checked out and what do you know, my mouth is fricked up. EpiPens would be nice. But now I got a fear for my life every time I think about wanting a dessert that wasn't homemade. The worst part to me is the cost of materials for an EpiPen is so negligible. The epinephrine itself costs maybe $1. The materials to make the device probably costs like $5. There's likely a small chunk of change which is dedicated to paying research and development royalties. But at the end of the day, we're still talking about a maybe $6 object being shelled out for more than $300. Would you be surprised to learn that Mylan has hiked the price up 500% since 2008? No, probably not. Because this is America, where essential, life-saving items will cost you as much as they possibly can before too many people will literally choose death over buying it. One day a freaking bee will probably kill me simply because I refuse to buy into that dystopian nightmare. How much? The cost has gone up in the UK, partly due to shortages, and I was annoyed about it. But it's still only about £34 each for £68 for a 2-pack, of which the patient pays about £9.50 as a fixed prescription fee in England, or free in Scotland and Wales, because NHS, $300 is criminal. My insulin and diabetic supplies. It's unreal how much I pay just to stay alive and healthy. I didn't ask to get sick, pancreatitis. I didn't ask to become type 1. Life's unfair. But you have to keep your head up and not be so angry all the time. Transplant recipients are in the same boat. Can't exactly tough it out and stretch anti-rejection meds. My husband had a kidney transplant almost 5 years ago. Got new insurance this year. We literally cannot afford both his immunosuppressants and rent. Groceries. Yeah, the ramen I buy used to be 33 cents. Now it's 55 cents, which doesn't sound like much. But this is a 67% increase in a year. I remember when Maruchan ramen used to be 10 cents each. Therapy. Edited to add. Thank you all for the awards. Hope everyone gets the chance to work on themselves at some point or another if they can find a way. It's the best thing I did for myself. My financial situation is why I'm depressed. That sucks. Anyways, that will be $120. $120? In my dreams. Houses. The average house price in my area is like $1 mil. The young people in my country are split into 2 groups. Those whose only chance at owning a home is inheritance after their parents die, and those who don't even have that luxury. Average house across all of Canada is almost $800,000 now. In the cities it's easily $1 minus $2 million. There was an article yesterday on Reddit that was saying that out of all G7 countries, Canada had the biggest gap between salaries and house prices. Bras, especially when you're anything over a C cup. See some lovely reasonably priced sets in my town center. Can you find anything over a C cup? Nope. You'll have to pay double the price, and it's also assumed if you've got big boobs then you must need massive knickers too, so you have to buy bras and underwear separate for both to fit. Booty and titty size matching up seems like a huge assumption. Some A-cups be dragging a dump truck behind them. Living. With rising funeral costs, you can't afford to die either. You don't need funeral. Rent. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. I missed the part where that's my problem. Dental care. Absolutely extortionate for them to run a polished brush over and say, "You've got buccal abrasions." I'm really thankful I have great teeth, because the cost is just impossible for average income, even with benefits. And so many health insurances don't even cover it. It's incredible stupid. How the frick are your teeth not related to your health? In the future they'll have gallbladder insurance and ears insurance and stubbed your big toe insurance. It won't ever stop. Glasses. Fricking hundreds of dollars for a pair of plastic frames? Go frick a duck. ZennyOptical.com. You're welcome. Zenny is great. I've also used iBooDirect.com and $39glasses.com. Graphics cards. Sad face? Expensive and rare. Fricking yes. £900 for a graphics card with a £360 RRP is insane. I'm dying for an upgrade. I can't justify nearly $1K. Kids. Copic markers. If you ever go to Japan, stock up on Copic markers. They're much more reasonably priced, like around 300 to 400 yen each. Stares at her 250 Copics.